Hey, it's Michael Verma from Internet Marketing Crunch here, and I know it's been a while since I've done a video. So, in this video, I want to talk to you about 5 things you can do to actually build more rapport with your outsourced employees. So, as you know, outsourcing is a big part of my business. I try to outsource as much as I possibly can, and we have a lot of fun, and we have a great team along the way. So, I just wanted to share with you today 5 different things that I do, which kind of help cement or build that rapport with employees. So the first one I do is I actually find out exactly what they want. Find out what's important to them. So when I do this in the initial interview, so I'll ask them, one of the questions I have is like, what is really important to you? And sometimes they just want a stable job working from home, or their kids, so they can be close to their kids. Or they're very spiritual, it could be religion, or sometimes they may not even know, right? They like to just have fun and they're more experimental. So the first thing I would do is I'd find out what's really important to them, because if you can give that to them, that can help you and that can help your business. Obviously, if they're happy, you're happy, and it's more productive work. I know my first hire actually left after over 3 years. I found this out initially, and they told me that they wanted to go into an HR position in 2 years. And I'm like, okay, 2 years is a long time, never outsourced before. And over 3 years later, they ended up leaving. So that taught me a valuable lesson that you need to find out what's important to you. You need to also make sure that you can give them what's important to them. So a couple examples, like I said earlier, I have one who is a stay-at-home mom. They want to be close to their kid. They do have a nanny, but the fact that they're at home is important to them. Another one who's religious, right? That's very important to them. So find that out for it. The second thing I talked to you about this goal is have fun and do surprises with them. So like surprise bonuses. I gave one just the other day to one of my employees. Actually what I did is when I sent their paycheck, I sent an extra amount on it. So almost 10% of their monthly pay. And they sent me back an email saying, "Sir, this is a mistake." And I go, no mistake, it's a bonus. And they weren't expecting it, so they were actually caught off guard. So I thought that was kind of cool. And just if you have fun with them, you are open with them and give them surprise bonuses, they'll definitely like that. The third one, and this is kind of complicated and sometimes kind of personal, and you do need to get personal with your team, right? Because it is like an extended family. I consider my team to be like an extended family, right? And you gotta treat them well, like you treat your family well, and take care of them as well, because you are their income source, right? So if you don't take care of them, then they'll find somebody else who will take care of them. And I think that's just basic stuff for being an employer. But the third one would be to find out what their situation is. Like find out what their expenses are, what their income. Like, are they supporting 4 people, right? Are they a single and living at home? Are they paying rent? Because if you understand what their expenses are, I'm not saying pay them less on it, but I'm saying that if they're supporting a family of 4 and they're making minimum wage on it, they're going to go and find another job soon, right? So it's important to understand this, and it's important that you help them out. If they are a family of 4 at Christmas time, give them a bonus, because you know that they're going to have more expenses being in a family at Christmas time, right? And so that they support elderly people. Medical can be a cost. So it's important to figure this stuff out, because like I said, if you're not able to provide for them, they're going to go and find another employer that's going to be able to provide for them. So you want to make sure that their expenses are covered, and you want to make sure things like if they're doing home renos, or they're ending up doing something, whatever, just give them a bonus at that time, because you know that they're going to have extra expenses, and that will help them get through that rough patch. Because they might need the money only temporarily, but they don't need it long term, right? So like I have one girl who's doing home renos, and I know it's not cheap to do home renos, right? She's actually putting a floor on her house. And you'd be surprised how cheap it is to do that in the Philippines. But so obviously she'd need extra money at that time, so you'd give a bonus. The fourth thing is, and this is really important, is play to their strengths, right? So if you hire somebody who's a writer, and they're okay as a writer, but they love to build links, right? Or vice versa, let them be a link builder to it. Find out how it fits in your organization, but play to their strengths. One good example I have of that is the HR girl I was telling you about before. She did she went through all the resumes, and she's gone through, did all the interviews and stuff like that. And okay, so I've got to sit here and do it, or someone who wants to be in HR, who enjoys being HR, for them to do it. It makes more sense for them to do it over me doing it, right? So it's kind of like, and she was a customer service rep, so her job had nothing to do with HR. But I'm playing to her strengths because she's not doing something I'm supposed to be doing, which is taking time, and she wants to do it. Um, the other thing as well, playing the strengths, is find out like some people love repetitive jobs that they just do the same thing, come over and over again, don't even need to think about it, right? Some people love a challenge, right, where they will get bored of something after a month, and if they get bored, they might leave, right? So you really want to find out. You really want to find out about them, right? Find out what their strengths are, and this will come over time, though, right? And this will come over talking to them as well. And point five is always be open to questions. So any conversation I have, I always ask, do you have any questions? Because I want them to always have an opportunity to say something. And the reason I'm playing in point five now is because that plays with point four, is that's how you're going to learn about them, right? Ask them, how do you feel about doing this? Like, I will straight out say, I know you're doing a difficult task, right? How do you feel? And they'll be like, well, you know what, I find it to be a little bit more challenging, blah, blah, blah. And be like, that's okay. Like, I have one task right now that I know the employee can do it, I know they can do it well, and they're making errors at it. And I go, you know what, if you weren't making errors at it, you would not be human, right? Because it's expected. Like, I wouldn't be able to do that task without making errors in the beginning at it, because that's just how it is. Don't overly expect too much of them, and realize that they're human and play with their strengths and have a good, open relationship with it. So just to summarize it, first you want to find out what's important to them. Second of all, you want to do surprise bonuses for them, or just have some fun and just extra stuff. Third is you want to understand their income and expenses and their situation on it. Fourth is you want to play to their strength. And the last one is you always want to be open for questions. So any conversation I end, I always end it with a Q question mark. That's my thing on it. So they always have a chance to ask questions. And I encourage their managers to do the exact same thing, because you always want it that they always have a chance to talk to you about stuff. That kind of takes off. I learned this, I did training a long time ago, and it was basically the first thing they did is they go, do you have any questions? Because I think people who heard bad things about it, or people who weren't sure about it, or thought it might have been like a cult or something, or not good, they said, okay, we can clear your mind by getting all the questions out of the way and then start the training on it, right? So I think you always need to keep their mind clear, so that way nothing is ever building up. If there are any problems, right, anything that they're open up for it. So those would be my 5 tips on outsourcing. If you have any more tips, leave your comments below. Right below this, please leave your comments, and give me your tip on building rapport with your outsourced employee, or how you build your relationship. I also have an outsource guide. If you haven't picked that up yet, it's been one of the best things I've actually done. So I would highly recommend for you to pick that up if you're outsourcing. I'll tell you in a nutshell what it's going to tell you. It's going to tell you that you really need to work with your team. You need to build it. Outsourcing is an ROI, right? The more you invest into it, the more you can get of it. You can't just go, here, I want you to build articles. And they'll be, well, what should I build articles on, right? What should I write articles on, right? And you haven't done your keyword research, you haven't analysis where you're going to put it. You need to put the whole system into place, right? So a lot of it's about working with your team, investing with your team, and looking at it long run, not just expecting to give it to somebody else and them basically taking over and it not working, and then you're wondering, outsourcing doesn't work, it sucks, right? Outsourcing's not the problem. The problem is it's not done right. So I highly recommend for you to pick up that guide. Thank you very much. It's Moko Verma from Internet Marketing Crunch.